Hey folks, and happy Thursday to you. I'm going to do something a little bit different this week. Later on, I will send the video invitation that I do every single Thursday. But today is a little bit more special because today is the 11th of September. It was on this day 24 years ago that terrorism struck the United States in a way that had never happened before. And we really do need to take a few minutes to ponder that. We need to take a few minutes to remember that. And we need to take a few minutes to redirect or direct where our trust goes in the midst of it. Now, I know that everyone who was alive on that day remembers where they were and what they were doing when all of this started unfolding. I, for one, was driving a Dodson pest control truck in Caswell County, North Carolina. And I remember going into different places that I went into, and everybody's television was on, no doubt. And everybody was talking, and there was a lot of uncertainty. And truth of the matter is, no one knew what was coming next. And I remember the days after that when the church's doors were open and people were praying. People were on altars praying. And man, how we need people to be back on the altars praying right now, as a matter of fact. And thankfully, we haven't endured anything like that since that day. And prayerfully we won't. But we really, Christians, people of faith, we really need to know where to direct our energies. We need to know where to direct our faith. And it's in God. I want to read to you from the 11th Psalm today. And I've used this many times when we've talked about evil or wicked or things of that nature. And certainly 9/11 was a day of evil. It was a day of heartache. It was a day of uncertainty. It was a day of what's going to happen next. And you know, even though, as I said, thankfully nothing like that has happened in the last 24 years, and we need to be thankful for that. We also need to understand we never know when something else may happen because this is an evil world, and we're going to talk about that. But here's where we need to direct our faith. Here's where we need to direct our understanding, if you will. Because many times when something happens, we don't understand it. And then we get down. We let it rule us. But the good news is, Christian, we've already got victory, and we know where we can put it. So in the 11th Psalm, we see this. In the Lord put I my trust. How say you to my soul, flee as a bird to your mountain? Verse 2. For lo, the wicked bend their bow, they make ready their arrow upon the string, and they may privately shoot at the upright in heart. Verse number 3. Here's where we really derive the meaning of this psalm. Verse number 3. If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Verse number 4. The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids try the children of men. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence his soul hateth. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and a horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of his cup, or their cup. For the righteous Lord loveth righteousness. His countenance doth behold the upright. So, we think about it when we think of a national tragedy as we commemorate this day. And let me encourage all of us to think about it when we look at the world we live in currently. There is evil on every side. There's crime on every side. Christian, we know that it's going to happen. And we need to understand it doesn't take our God by surprise. And then let's consider the words of the psalmist in Psalm chapter 11 and verse number 3. If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? And we find the answer in verse number 1. In the Lord put I my trust. So on this day of remembrance, remember those that lost their lives that day. Remember the courage that people exhibited that day. And then, Christian, remember that God is still in control. He's still on the throne. And even though the man-made foundations may be destroyed, righteous, what can you do? In the Lord put I my trust. So God bless you this day of remembrance. And I pray you have a wonderful day in the Lord. Later on, I will be posting the video invitation for church service on Sunday, as I typically do. God bless you.